Minions, rejoice! For I am making a Pokemon comic along with a friend, and we only have a week to do it. This is a multi-part series that discusses the various parts that will go into making your own Pokemon comic. Now, I've been a Pokemon fan for well over a decade at this point, and I've always wanted to make my own kind of Pokemon fan art. And now is my chance to make something finally big and grand in Pokemon form, just like how I always wanted. Now, as you may know, there are two things that are important in a comic. Plot and the drawings, obviously. But, because this is a collab, there's one thing that's more important than anything else, and that's communication. Since the main conflict that comes up with doing these kinds of drawings is the fact that I need to make an outline that gives Hiziki enough information to work with so he doesn't need my assistance, because of course he's too dumb to understand how 3D modeling and stuff works. And the software of choice for this drawing is Koikatsu, since that's Hiziki's main software that he uses for his 3D models and his artwork as well. But the main reason why we use it is because that software is both free, it's easy to use, it's really beginner friendly, and it offers so much freedom in terms of character models, the kinds of animations, the kind of posing. And if you don't believe me, you can hear it from Hiziki himself.
Well, it would be the easiest entry level to character creation and position things, I guess. You don't have to know a lot about everything at first. Then after that, you can learn things and be better, you know. Well, like I said, you can basically make every kind of character. Of course, it has limitation because, you know, 3D model have like a defined number of polygons and everything, so you can't push them too far. But that can be, with a bit of manipulation, still can work really well. Base game is pretty bad. You'd really need to have a lot of plugins and mods from the community to make something decent. But of course, since the game can't be bought anymore, you will have them anyway. If you download the packed one, after that you can just personalize it every further, just downloading what you need for more, deleting things you don't need, but usually you just keep everything, because it can be useful at some point. And after that is just practice, you know, just getting into the Cara Studio part, trying a basic character at first, seeing what you can do, what you can change, what kind of texture you want, play with the light settings, the color one, load. You can even make, to be honest, you can just make clothes and outfits, and you don't even have to bind them to a character. You can just save them as clothes, and when in Cara Studio you can import them.
Having clear intentions is important for anything that you're really drawing, as it prevents your mind from seeing it as meaningless. I said before that mine is basically about making Pokemon fan art in a long time, and for Hiziki, it's essentially the reason why we're making this comic in the first place. It's basically for him to be able to draw over 3D models and see what it's like to actually make that kind of artwork. It's one big mentorship for him, really. Here at Team Few, we only aim for the most over-the-top kind of plots, so our story basically boiled down to this.
Draw your last pathetic card so I can end this, Yugi. My grandpa's deck has no pathetic cards, Kaiba.
And the dread of Volo. Whenever you have ideas, come up with something that's fun, and for me it's three things: cute, thick, and bratty. And clarity is just as easy as that. Now, don't be stupid into thinking that you don't need the basics for 3D. You always need the basics. But not all of them. If you were to ask me what the core fundamental is in any kind of drawing, let alone comics, it's composition. And I'm not talking about the silly rule of thirds, the golden ratio, blah 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 blah, I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about what it is you're drawing. And it's the hardest skill. And trust me, some people get it really easy. They're really lucky for that. But even as an accomplished artist like me, with over 70k on Twitter, taking commissions here and there, I still struggle with clarity. I still struggle with the composition itself. And it's not something you can improve on via critiques. This is a personal thing that you gotta figure out for yourself. So don't be discouraged if it takes you a long while or it's really difficult for you to come up with something. It's completely natural. Now, a simple solution to this problem is to just have fun, but we'll talk about that on a later part of the series, about coming up with plots and stories on your own. This is the result of our comic outline. Yeah, it's very messy, yeah, it's just a complete bunch of scribbles, but it has everything that Hazuki needs in order to pose these characters in Koikatsu, as well as having information about the plot, the story, the effects, all of that we need in order to actually add to the comic. And by the end of the first day, boom, we are done with all of the posing of the characters. And up next is actually the backgrounds and drawing over them, which will be saved for the next part. As a reminder, these drawings are streamed live on my Twitch channel, where we play around with whatever we can get our hands on as members of Team Few. So be sure to tune in and assist with watching the world burn.